it's hard to date more up or down more than one social class. So like if you're I grew up like it's kind of interesting. I grew up in like a top 1% family, but we weren't always that growing up. So I would say like I grew up upper middle class. And so even when I met Kevin Samuels before he like died, and he even told me, he did tell me to dump this person that I'm referencing, but he told me, you could date an Ivy League guy, or you could date this, because like I was upper middle class, so I can go to like elite or down one, but like if you go down two, it's like hard. And so like if you're middle class, you could date lower middle class and upper middle class, but it would be hard for you to date like someone from the hood if you're middle or upper, like. And so for me, like he was like from the like he was not from a good area.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Rico, Hundo. You already know the vibes. Here at 8 at the Table, we got a dope guest today. It's going to be a great conversation. I'm actually a big fan and subscriber, so this is kind of cool for me. Now, usually I allow them to introduce themselves, and she will, but I gotta say her name on here. We got the GOAT, Pearl. Here in the building with us at 8 at the Table. Go ahead.
Thank you for having me, first of all. My name is Pearl. I run the YouTube channel Just Pearly Things. I do a live show in London 4 times a week where I bring in men and women to discuss, hot button topics about relationships.
Hot button.
Yeah.
Is that London terminology, mate?
Hot button. You've never heard of hot button?
No.
Like hot button issues?
Hot button?
Yeah, it's like controversial.
I heard of hot stuff.
No, like controversial, basically.
We also got the great Lanie.
Excuse me, guys.
Saz Gang, go ahead. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? We were talking before we started filming, and I thought that it was really dope because I found you from when you did a video interviewing 2 women. I don't know if there was an event going on or if there was like something, I don't even know where the location was. But I just thought it was crazy dope that like everything that they were saying, you were hitting. In my opinion, they were having regurgitated opinions, and you were knocking it out the park with like factual knowledge. Like, okay, you think this, but this is what it really is. Ha pow.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, this is dope. So my question is, do you like study? Like, how do you get like some of the information that you actually describe to the world on your podcast and in your interviews?
I mean, I think people underestimate Google. a lot of like things you see online, you can just Google
it.
Like,
it's super easy.
Yeah. I mean, I would say I've gotten good at like memorizing the stats and stuff just from doing a live show 4 times a week. You kind of, I don't know, people say the same things and have the same talking points. So like if I hear something one show that doesn't make sense, and I'll just kind of note it and like Google it after the show and then just come prepared for the next one. So you do that for like 6 months, a lot, 4 times a week.
Damn, yeah, you're right. That's more than college. So let's jump right into the topic. Lanie, are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Pearl, are you ready for this?
I am.
All right, so the topic today is, if body count doesn't matter, why do women lie about it? I mean, a girl, like, it got to a point where, shout out J. Cole, he put out in his song, whatever number she tells you, multiply it by 3. Because men have been lied to about a woman's body count forever. It's a conversation that always happens, and we're not trying to uncover the body count of a woman. I don't really think anybody's really asking what's your body count too much nowadays. However, if the topic is or conversation is brought upon, men are inclined to believe that women are going to lie about it before they're honest.
Why? Well, it does matter, and that's why women lie, because, like I don't know. Like they want, it's like because the more men you sleep with, the less valuable you are. So they're trying to sell a used Honda Civic at BMW prices, and if they tell the dealer, the buyer, the mileage, then they have to lower the price.
I agree, Lanie. What about you? Do you agree?
I don't agree. Like, why does my body count? Like, if you don't know and my value is all the way up here, like, what does it matter? Like, I don't think it's even a question to ask someone. Like, who cares what my body count is?
Okay, so I agree with you on one thing. I don't think it's like there's a high ROI on men asking because, like, what are the odds you get the truth? One. And two, it's like, even if she is telling the truth, you're going to assume she's lying. So, like, okay, I mean, you can ask, but...
I'm saying I think it's the stigma, though.
But two, it's because men and women are different. So they're valued for different things. Like, you're looking at it from a female lens. So, like, as a woman with a guy, like, we don't really care what his body count is. But men, they value purity and youth. Like, throughout all of time, men have always wanted pure, young virgins. And so, if you're not young and you're not pure, then you're just not what men value anymore.
According to who?
According to,
Like,
like...
us,
okay, according to... and that's the problem. I think there's a stigma as to what it is that you're supposed to be. And if you have... I'm not sure even what the body count is supposed to be. It's like you're a slut, a whore, or whatever. But we need to destigmatize that, because I think that the reason why there is an issue, because everyone's trying to conform to society's like rules. Who cares what you're like in my culture, if you are a virgin and you have sex with one person, that person's supposed to marry you. It's like, why?
There's a lot of cultures like that.
Yeah, but I don't understand what's the point.
Well, you know
it's
that
like,
they have the least, like, you know that anybody who has marriage with 0 to 1 other partners, right? So either no other partners or one other partners have the highest chance of a healthy, committed marriage.
Healthy?
Yeah.
Healthy, according to what?
Well, this is a new census over the recent years. And then...
They ask them, do you believe women? Believe all women. Come on. Believe women.
They ask what women?
They ask women. So what they do is they survey the women when they first get married. So they first get married, they say, how many partners have you had? It could be a lie, right? But let's just assume everyone lies by 20%, 10%. Like
30%.
If whatever they're lying by, like everyone's asked the same question. So they say 0 partners, right? Then in 10 years they come back and say, how happy are you in your marriage? And then they say, this is how happy, and they rate them. And so then if they have 0 to 1 partners, like he was saying, like they have an 80% chance of a happy marriage. It seems like the cutoff point is above 5 to like 7. That's kind of when you're like damaged goods. And
Well, they said actually, the consensus that is, it's a newer consensus, right? And it's 3 to 9 was, well, 10 or more. I forgot the exact number, but 10 or more is like the most likely to have a non-committed relationship, non-committed or happy marriage, right? Then 3 to 9 is then less. And then obviously 2 is kind of like a no man's land. And then 0 to 1 is actually the highest. And it's a higher by like that, like about around 80%.
And how many grandmas did they ask? Because I would think that that's the thing. Because if you ask my grandma why she stayed in a marriage, and a terrible marriage for all these years, and was she still happy, she'll say yeah.
But that, you don't think that's beautiful?
No, not when my grandfather was sleeping with 25 other women at the same time and has 25 other kids spread out through the neighborhood.
But you realize, like, most men, so, like, the idea that this is a widespread thing going on, the men are just cheating, da-da-da-da-da, it's like, it's not based in reality. That might be your personal experience, but most men historically didn't even reproduce. So if you want a faithful guy, it's pretty easy to find one. 1 in 3 men are either virgins or haven't had sex in the past year. Even historically, only 40% of men reproduce. So if you don't want a guy that cheats, pick one. Find your friend zone. But if you choose to get a guy that cheats, then...
Yeah, like, usually don't get guys that cheat.
What? But yeah, so that, but I'm saying that was your grandma's choice.
Okay, but it's like you are saying, like, you're not saying where the study was done, who it was done. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I just think to each his own.
I think
you know what I'm saying? If you want to be a person that has one partner, great.
It's the Center for Disease Control in the U.S. That's where the study was done.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, and the thing is then, you know, I think that what ends up happening is when people come with with stats and or studies from places, right, that debunk a stereotype, okay? Like, we have to realize that if I say, hey, all men cheat, right, or all men are dogs, it's like, well, where did that study come from? And when was that done? When was that conducted? You know, it usually is something that has been a stigma that's been passed down from generations. It's not something that's really current. Like, for example, this is a little bit off topic, but I just found out that only 8% of black men are actually considered deadbeat dads. But if you ask the world, it's way, well, in America, if you ask America, it's way bigger than that. Like, that's like a big thing. Like, men don't take care of their kids here, but it's like only 8% of us don't, right? So now it's like, well, we're getting the truth now. And at some point we have to understand that the truth is what it is. It's not what we want it to be. So if the truth is, in my opinion, right, most men don't want a girl. And I believe I said this here before. I'll say it again. Men don't want a girl who has slept with many partners. And it's not because she's a hoe, right? It's because, well, if she is a hoe, that's different. But if you have like 10 partners, for example, some men can stomach it and some men can't, right? A man like me, I can stomach it because my number is extremely higher than 10. Some men that numbers are 15, he's looking at her like, and like, you know, like him. And then in the same breath, what ends up happening is it's like, well, what am I supposed to do with you, right? Am I supposed to provide for you? Am I supposed to take care of you and protect you? The same. So why would I do that for somebody who has been accessible and dispersed amongst many men? You know, and at this point, when we had a girl talk, I don't remember her name. She said she had over 2,000 bodies or something like that, right?
Okay.
She had a crazy amount of bodies. She went viral. Right? On another, I'll find it. And she was like, well, like, you know, like the stance that men and women can do the same things. Like, no, we can't, unless you're going to play by the same exact rules across the board.
I have a question. Do you blame women for wanting a man that provides or like makes more money?
Do I blame women?
Like, do you think that's societal pressure and like stigma?
No, I think that's a woman's choice. I don't necessarily need a man to provide or do anything for me. I provide for myself, provide for my family. So, you know, when it comes to like the questions like that, like I don't think a man is supposed to provide for a woman. Okay, that is your choice. If you want a man to do that, that is your choice.
What about protect? So like if you were walking down the street and someone attacked you, would you feel like it's equal rights, equal lefts? He shouldn't step in to protect you?
I'm saying if he runs, I'm leaving him, but I can protect myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay. So it just depends what you're looking for. I'm not looking for a man to give me those things.
The only reason I say that is like we have biological reasons for the reasons we feel the way we feel. So there's a biological reason you would leave him if he ran. Because historically, we would want someone to protect and provide because we wouldn't pass on, like make it to the next generation if we didn't find someone to protect us and provide. Even being a single woman, like, that's a privilege. Because historically, we couldn't even be single. We would die. Someone would, like, kill us. Or
they would?
Yeah.
I don't know who.
The point is there's biological reasons that you would leave him. And there's biological reasons that men feel the way they do about body count. Because historically, they had to ensure paternity. And we can, like, shame them for it and say you shouldn't care. But, like, they can't undo that feeling they get when they think of another dude that's, like, nailed his girl.
Yeah.
Actually, we were actually having this conversation earlier. And if we look back to Indian times when, you know, people lived in their Native Americans, right? And they lived in their, whatever is called their tribe.
Right.
People had sex with everyone. Everyone had sex with everyone. The paternity was not an issue.
Which tribe?
Well, that was also very
Native Americans.
I know, but there was a lot of different tribes in Native America. So I'm asking like which ones.
Well, I don't know.
Because like usually when I hear this stuff, it's an exception. It's not the rule that was like widespread amongst all.
I'm saying it says here that descendants in the communities in North America, Quebec, Michigan, Kansas, Oklahoma, all around the 17th century.
Which is right before it was colonized, which makes sense.
Yeah. So, you know, those were people that belonged to a clan that basically took care of their children. Like, everyone took care of everyone's children.
But I'm asking, like, how did it work with the paternity? Like you said, everyone was sleeping with everyone?
Yeah, but if we all live here, we all take care of the kids.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm saying, like, how did it work, like, sexually? Like, everyone was sleeping with everyone? Is that what you're saying?
So one woman was having 6 different guys with babies.
She could have.
Okay, this just doesn't make sense with the data because, again, like, only 40% of men have reproduced historically. So it seems like it would have been one man, like the powerful men with multiple women.
But if I have sex with several different men and I don't know who the father is, it doesn't matter that he couldn't reproduce.
No, what matters is that, well, now we're talking about decision making. And what matters is the fact that you're just sleeping around clearly unprotectedly to the point where you don't know who the dad is, whether it be two men or more.
We were talking about historically.
Well, I'm just saying historically, and the thing is, what ends up happening is we try to take something that has happened in one spot, right? Which the tribes, and if we go back to the 17th century, there was two main groups of Native Americans at that time, right? One of them predominantly was the Moors American, and then the other one, I don't know the name of that, but the Moors American actually made up majority of America before the colonization, right? To my knowledge. Now, that I can tell you, in Moors American, being that they were probably the majority, most powerful people in America, they did not abide by those rules. Now, the other different Native Americans that had different tribes and different cultures, which could range, right? It could be a tribe could be 20 people, it could be 100 people, it could be 2,000 people, right? Now we're trying to argue with rules of their own rules, okay? But then what ends up happening is that's not the majority of the world, right? It doesn't matter if we want to go back to Asian Africa, right? Or we want to go to Europe, or we want to go to Asia, India. Even India, first and foremost, one of the Hindu is the longest, most current culture in, to the man's knowledge, right? So with that being said, they don't even believe in that, right? In the Hindu religion, they don't believe in women sleeping with multiple men. And actually, I mean, they really don't believe in men sleeping with multiple women either, technically. It is an equality thing over there. But, and in my personal opinion, I think that is the best choice, right? Which is kind of going off on a tangent. But I do think that men should not sleep with as many women as we get praised to, right? Only because if you get really good at it, why would you stop? You know what I'm saying? And then especially if I'm that guy now, it makes no sense to stop. But from a woman's perspective, you got to pay to play. So if you are not paying, okay, if you're not covering these bills, if you're not protecting, if you're not doing these things, you need to be what is that person that will be doing those those are called survival skills. Men are providing survival skills for women. And then women are thinking that they can just sleep out and, spontaneously, frivolously, recklessly.
What women are these?
Well, I mean, there's women that's saying that body count doesn't matter, and it does.
I just think it's the quality of women that you're coming around. Because let me ask you a question. You're a man, right? And because to me, I don't care how many women, and to me, I think it's like a being selfish and jealous. When if I ask a man, how many women have you slept with? He said 100. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to worry about this. I don't have to worry about that because now you're with me. Now, if I'm insecure and I think that those other 100 women are even better than me or we're doing or whatever it is, whatever the reason is. So if you have a woman and she's great, you do not have to pay her bills, okay, because she has her own, right? She doesn't need you to protect her because she can take care of herself, but she wants you as a man. So, of course, if you see something, you'll be like, oh, I got you, whatever. And she provides 90% of the things that you want, 90%. But that 10% is the body count that is bothering you, right? That body count.
How high is it?
It doesn't matter. Whatever number.
Give me a number.
What number would put you off? What number would put you off?
What number would...
Yeah.
I'm saying Rico could tell the number. What number is too high for you?
Yeah, what number?
A number that's too high for me is...
Is 45 too high?
What age is she? Because that does play a big part.
It doesn't matter because it's
29.
A 19-year-old...
She's 25. 26.
25?
26.
She's 25?
Yeah, 25.
Oh, God. The number's going to be lower. She's 25.
Or what do you typically date?
25, I say she has to have less than 10.
Okay.
Mathematically, the way I look at it is she lost her virginity at 17. 17 to 25, that's what, 8 years? That gives her about 1 1/3, 1 1/2 a year. That's fair to me.
Okay, so
that means that and if she's 25, see, this is the thing, like when we really start to break down body count, if a woman tell me she's 25, right, and she's been in 2 relationships, and each relationship lasted 18 months, right, so now we got 36 months, right, which is 3 years, okay, so now you have 25 minus 3 years is 22, right, so you're telling me really, and let's say she lost her virginity at 17, so 17 to 25 is what, 8 minus 3, so in 5 years you tell me you have 20 men that you slept with.
Okay, yeah. So she said 20. We'll go with that number.
I'm gonna say 20.
Even if you say 20.
But I'm gonna say something real quick. But let me say.
But like, even if you say 20, then this is what happens, Lanie. As a man, I'm starting to think. You say 20. That means in 5 years that you were available, right? Outside of 2 men. So now we got 18 men that you slept with in a 5-year period. How many men is that a month?
So
you're almost you're probably approaching damn near a man a month.
It doesn't matter. I'm older than both of you
but
guys.
I'm saying
and
25.
To me, if we're in a relationship and I have to sit here and do all this calculating just so we can discuss body count when we could be making money, when we could be building something, you think I'm gonna waste my time to do? In 5 years, you were not thinking, so your body count is. You think I'm gonna waste my time to do some shit like that?
You wasted your time every time you decide to sleep with somebody and not build with them.
I wasted my time being in a relationship with you because your ass ain't smart enough to do. But Rico, let's go back to the question. Let's go back to the question. So you have the 10%, right? You have the 10%, which is the body count of 20 guys. So you're going to. I'm saying, she gives you everything you want. That 90% is everything you want in a person, but she slept with 20 men, right? At age 25. Would you, because it's too much for you, right?
You
can't do it.
You're not doing that. It's wild to me, bro. That's
what is wild?
Wild.
Because y'all been in a relationship.
At 25, I mean, realistically, I know what. Let's say at 25, I wasn't close to 20, but I was at least around like double. Like let's say 40, right? So like you slept with half the amount. That's crazy to me. Absolutely not. There's no way in God's green earth that I'm going to expand myself for a woman that slept with even half of the amount of men that I slept with women. It doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense to you. But the question was not that. A woman, she provides you with 90% of the things that you need in a relationship.
So she has, I think you said things like paying her own bills. Do you care about that? I'm assuming most guys don't.
I mean,
that's what he brought up.
I do care about it, right? Mm-hmm. So like if a woman is holding her own and she's self-sufficient, I find that very attractive. Okay. But it's different. When we're talking about what is your bills though, because paying your own bills and it's only $2,000 a month. You live in this 600 square foot studio and it's $900 a month, and then all the rest about $700-800. So you're telling me you pay all your bills and it's only $2,000 a month. That's not impressive to me. But if you pay all your own bills and it's $5,000 a month, now we're talking.
I don't even think 5,000 is.
Okay. So
there are women out here.
I can make some exceptions, but if a woman typically is paying her own bills, and let's just give it a number for the sake.
Yeah.
We'll say $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
You got to be doing something good, right? If you're paying $5,000 a month, that's $60,000 a month. I mean, $60,000 a year in bills. I'm assuming that you're making 6 figures. Okay. So now, if we run with that, I'm like, okay, cool. This is a 6-figure woman. This is probably why her body count is high, right? She doesn't have the time to really invest in a relationship. I probably would not even indulge into a relationship. More so, it'd be a fun thing, and I'd probably be number 21.
But it's been...
So even if she has the 90% of the stuff you want, it'd be cooked.
It's impossible.
What?
That's impossible.
What do you mean? But she's just giving a hypothetical. So
it's a hypothetical. It's not realistic.
It is.
I know, but it's a question. It's a question. You. Body count, you'd be out 20.
20, if you're 30, I'd go with it. 20 at 25, I'm not going with it. Like 20 at 25, I'm not going with it. Like I said, the amount of time that you spend on this earth is different. That's why it's a variable, right? If you're 35 years old, I'm not going to tell you have to have 20 bodies. That's kind of ridiculous, especially if you've been single majority of your adulthood. That doesn't even make sense. But
the 25-year-old, they'd be cooked. You'd be done. Naski.
Yeah, 20. You're 20. You're 25 with 20 bodies. You're bugging.
Yeah, okay.
You're bugging. So. I probably know a couple people. and that 20.
You can refer a friend.
Yeah.
You can refer a friend.
And we do that. We've done that. Like we prefer. Like listen. That's.
It's like a referral program, an affiliate link.
Yo, bro, you know about this? Yeah, my man said it's alright. You should do it. I bet. Like that's how that really works. When we can fake the initial surface level stuff. Mm-hmm. So can a woman to a certain extent, right? But if I talk to you long enough, I can tell that you've had a lot of experience, no matter your age. Because experience, especially if I'm older than you, experience is going to, your knowledge is going to reveal your experience in most cases in life. That's why they say what? The number one thing that they say about wisdom is what? Age. Which I disagree with. But the age is only because you had enough time to do what? Experience. So when a woman starts having sex with a lot of men, first of all, she doesn't even act the same. And don't let those men have money. She really don't act the same. She really don't act the same. A girl who doesn't have sex with a lot of men, typically quirky, typically nice, typically easy to talk to, fun to be around. A girl who has sex with a lot of men starts developing all these unrealistic standards. like they start to develop all this like just unapproachable qualities and traits. It's hard to talk to her. It's hard to please her. It's hard to satisfy her because she's had it all. How can you please a rich person with a dinner and he didn't eat everywhere? Or she.
So I have a question for you. Do you believe that you are your habits?
That I am my habits?
Yeah, like you become your habits.
No.
So you don't believe that the person you are is it's what you do. So like if you work hard every day, that you're a hardworking person. If you're nice every day, then you're a nice person.
I can work hard every day,
and be lazy.
I'm saying you don't have to be lazy. I don't. But the thing is that I don't categorize things. I don't I'm a hard worker. Okay. I work very, very hard. But that doesn't make me who I am. Okay? It doesn't.
What makes you who you are?
I'm just me. I'm like, my father.
I am a millionaire.
I'm not a millionaire yet.
No, I'm not actually. I'm saying, can I just say it? And then I am.
I'm saying
I don't have to have the $1 million to be a millionaire.
What is it called?
So actually, there are websites that say I am. I'm like, where?
I'm manifesting my truth.
What?
I'm manifesting my truth, so I will be a millionaire soon.
Yeah.
But I'm not right now. But I am a hard worker. But that is not just who I am. I'm not just a hard worker.
I didn't say just, but okay. So if you're a hard worker, how are you a hard worker?
I just make shit happen.
How? By what?
However, I make things happen.
But I'm saying you have to work hard to be a hard worker.
Yes, but that doesn't make me who that is not just who I am. I'm not just.
I didn't say that was the only thing.
Okay, so just go to your point because I don't understand what you're trying to say.
I think you do understand. I think you're just trying to not, but it's okay. But okay, your habits are who you are. So if I drink every day, I'm an alcoholic, right? If I do drugs every day, I'm a drug addict. Yeah. I didn't say I could be a nice drug addict. I could have more than one quality. And it's the same thing. Like if you sleep with a bunch of men for 10 years, how does he know that you're going to stop when he marries you? Like you are your habits. And the one thing that men value is loyalty. Like they want a girl that's down for them no matter what, like through the ups and the downs, especially now, because if they get married to you, like they're in a contract that you are paid to leave. So we have less incentive for men to get married.
Or he might be paid to leave.
No, not really.
Yeah.
Very rare.
Rare. Men only win 13% of alimony cases.
It doesn't matter, but if you marry me,
it's only 13%.
You might be paid to leave.
Wait, it's only 13%?
Mm-hmm. And child support is very little too. I think it's under 90. So I mean, you could talk about the exception, but we're talking about the rule. So if you're a hoe for 10 years, how does he know you're going to be loyal? It's just like the same thing. Like if he cheated in every single relationship he'd ever been in, I would think,
he's going to cheat.
he's probably going to cheat. So if she's been a hoe for 10 years, how does he know you won't get bored and go back to the streets?
And with this facts,
she's in the streets. It's a difference. Because if I'm a prostitute and I'm having sex with people and I'm hoeing, mm-hmm. because that's a thing, right? Mm-hmm. That's different. But if I want to have sex with different men, mm-hmm. it's my choice.
Yo, some women don't even know that they're a prostitute. You understand that? Some women don't know and don't believe that they're a prostitute. They're getting paid, with experience instead of actual physical cash to realistically be lured in and have sex.
Oh my gosh, you know what I asked guys on the street? I said, would you rather have, like, you got two girls. One has $50,000 in credit card debt that you have to pay off, and one has 50 bodies. Who you picking? They all said the debt.
I'll pay the debt.
Sounds like each body is worth at least $1,000. And I try to up it. I'm like, I wonder how high it'll go until they switch.
I take 100. I swear to God.
At what number would you switch it? So it's $100,000 you have to pay off for 50 bodies. Like, what number do you switch it?
Bro, honestly, it don't really matter. Listen, I didn't, like, especially, like, if you went to college, if you went to college and you don't do that career, was, like, let's say if that's, what, $100,000-$200,000 on average?
Yeah.
For you to do a different job?
No, she broke. She's never paying it off. No, you have to pay off all of it.
What I'm saying is, I still owe that money. Right? Whether or not I graduate, I still owe that money. So I'm going at least $250,000. At least $250,000. If I could give the government $250,000 for a degree that I don't use, I'll go with $250,000 in debt for a girl with less than 50 bodies. Bro, 50 bodies? You know how hard it was for me to get 50 bodies? Me. So, like, if you had 50 bodies, I'm like, yo, you're bugging. Absolutely not. And that shit don't even look the same. There's no way after 50 bodies your shit look the same. And you know what I'm talking about.
She must not be taking care of
it. It don't matter what you take care of. You got 50 bodies, 20 of them was raw. Because 9 times out of 10, if you're already exposing yourself like that, you're not even really caring about condoms.
Well, and it's like at 50 bodies, like, men don't want to deal with our trauma. So, like, even Andrew Tate talks about he doesn't really like women under the age of 25, and people were so offended by that statement. Weird to me, and no, look, I get it, because look, I mean, I'm almost 26, and so it's like, it's like every relationship we go through, we have trauma that comes with it. Mm-hmm. Like, by the time you're 25, you've probably had your heart broken, and who has to deal with that? Your husband. And it's like,
why you gotta deal with that?
Because we're women. We don't shut up.
I just
I love Pearl.
Let's just be real. You're not gonna tell them anything. Like, what are you gonna, like, just and then if you don't tell them anything, that's not really good either, because men don't like a girl that's not vulnerable. Like, being part of being feminine is being open and vulnerable with them.
I'm not feminine. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, probably not. Yeah. And I don't.
Yeah. Listen, I agree with you, bro. Like, what's it? Like, Pearl's my homie. Like, after today, me and Pearl are gonna be on a call. Like, Pearl, can I talk to you real quick? Like, they said I need a therapist. I think I just need you. Like, because I know I'm not bugging. I just need somebody to understand what I'm trying to say.
And that's why women don't want to have certain conversations with people, because we have people like you guys talking about, oh, if you do this, you're a hoe. If you do this, you're a hoe. If you do this, you're a hoe. So it's like, when are we ever going to be able to be vulnerable and talk about what we want to, like, if I want to be able mistakes? Why is that a mistake? You don't know everyone's life.
If I said to you, hey,
you don't know everyone's life.
But, like, that's like me complaining, right? Mm-hmm. That's like me complaining, like, yo, I got felonies. I'm not a criminal.
My body count has not affected anyone else. Okay, you might think my pussy looks differently.
Feels differently?
I don't know. Because I could tell you, I have 3 kids and my pussy's tight. Okay? And there are women that have one.
You don't have...
There are women that had one, okay, and are out here and only have one husband, and they shit is...
Because what I'm trying to say is that some women need to understand, as serious as you take that, it's as serious as we take your body count. So it's not about what you did and who you affected. Realistically, you affected yourself, because you yourself, and I believe, when you have a lot of men who are inside of you, you change, you carry baggage, you might carry self-resentment, you might carry identity issues. These are things that usually lead you to a path of having so much sex. You might have been in a position where you were financially struggling, and you used your body to gain yourself out of that struggle, right? There's a bunch of different reasons. But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, is it's not fair for people in general to ask people to forgive them for their past, but they're not willing to forgive others for theirs.
But everyone has a choice. Just like you have the choice to not want a woman with a certain body count. You know what I'm saying?
But that is
your choice. But that is...
No. Lanie, Rico, that is most men's choices. You already limited yourself. Let me tell you something. 10 to 20.
Most men are living with a woman that's body count is not what they think it is. Okay, number one. And guess what? They have taken them... It's not necessarily the point. Maybe they didn't ask. Maybe they didn't ask. So it's... I'm just saying, everyone is entitled to their choice. Okay?
So then if everyone's entitled to your choice, like, why do you keep arguing with him?
I'm not... We're trying to... I'm giving my point.
Yeah.
Okay? Everyone's entitled... If he's...
But he keeps saying, like, this is our choice, and then you keep saying, well, it shouldn't be your choice. I don't know.
No, he didn't say... This is the first time that... Number one, he said it's most men's choices, and I said everyone's entitled to their choice.
But this is not a choice.
But the thing is that you don't have to come here and say, oh, you've been a slut.
Why not? It was your choice to be a slut. It's my choice to not want a slut.
You don't get to categorize me or anyone. And I'm not saying this is my personal experience. But I'm just saying you don't categorize people.
Women don't want consequences. And this is the thing. Like, we're so used to being bailed out of poor decisions. Like, because women are bailed out of everything, literally. Like, if you wanna get pregnant, if you get pregnant by the wrong... No, actually, I'll start. First, if you sleep around, what do you have? Birth control. If you sleep around and you get pregnant anyways, you have an abortion. If you sleep around and you get pregnant by the right guy, you know, you can put him on child support. If you sleep around and get pregnant, you can trap him and, you know, get married, take half. Also, you know, and women are just so used to being bailed out of every decision that, like, we can't handle the truth. And, like, that's the consequence. You sleep around, you're a slut. Like, that is what it is.
Yeah. You call it...
It's like calling a spade a spade.
And then we can't do that. But when a man does it...
Honestly, women are all hoes by 1950s standards. Like, they said, like, honestly. they were like, you slept with two men? Two men? And guys today are like, please, under five, guys.
I'm at a point where I'm trying to be realistic. I'm just under 10 or... If you 25 or more, under 15. But because you gotta think about it at the end of the day. And here's the other thing: men are not dumb, women are not dumb. People are listening to each other, right? If you tell me you had 15 bodies, I gotta add an extra 5 because there's 5 that you don't count. There's 5 that didn't put it down. There's 5 that lasted a minute. There's 5 that you didn't really like. So they don't. So now your 15 is really 20.
Okay.
And it's like, yo, we don't ever get the truth. And then and you know what? I have a daughter, right? Mm-hmm. And been doing a lot of studying, right, on psychology and people and lying. And they say that kids first learn that they cannot trust. I don't mean to spoil anybody's, you know, thing. Kids learn that they cannot trust their parents when they find out that the holidays are not really real. Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, and Tooth Fairy, okay? Mm-hmm. So now, for a man, I take that basic principle, that basic concept, and apply it to life, right? And it's like, well, how can a man trust a woman who can't be honest with her past? And then when you really, really dig deep, it's like men have to make exceptions for women on a daily basis.
They do.
And I do think you're right. Like, I don't necessarily agree that all men can, like, tell off the bat what a woman's body count is, because we can all think of that friend that, like, no one would ever know, or that girl I think of, like, girls on my team. But the thing is, like, a girl sleeping around, it hurts herself. It's not necessarily, like, because you're just more likely to leave. It's hard for those girls to stay. And that's what I asked my mom this question, because I always like to ask, like, the older generation to see their, you know, and I asked her, I'm like, your hoe friends. my mom's like, I don't have any. but and I was like, oh. But I was like, okay. Oh. And I was like, mom. But, like, what happens to the girls that, like, from your high school or whatever, that, like, ever, like, town bicycle, or is that what they called it back in the day, or whatever? and she's like, no, I was like, would they still get married? And she would say yes, but they were the first divorced. But now, like, those women probably aren't even going to get married because 50% of women that hit 30 are single and childless. And then they're saying that, like, there's going to be such a rise in, like, single women, that there's more single women that are going to be homeless. There's going to be more single women on benefits. And 50% of women between the ages, like, of marriageable age, between the age of 20 and 25 and 45 are going to be single and childless. So much that, like, JP Morgan is investing in, like, cat food, dog food, wine, etc.
That's crazy. I got mad kids.
Wow. And
is that a real thing?
Yeah. I mean, like, that's 50% of women that hit 30 are single and childless.
White women.
No, women.
No. In America, right? In America.
If you're going to do marriage rates, like, by race, I want to say it's, like, Asians have it the best, then white. Like, the highest marriage rates, like, Asian women, then white women.
Over Indian? Really?
I think Asian isn't, like, Indian is included in Asian, because that's part of Asia. Right.
Gotcha.
I could be.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, on the continent wise,
yeah. But so it's like Asians on top, and then second white, and then I think it's Hispanic, then black, in terms of the marriage rates in the U.S. anyway.
And the U.S. is so terrible that and you know, this is just great to even talk about. The average single parent household in the world, excluding the U.S., is 8%. Okay. The U.S. is 24%. This was as of 2019. So
24%, 1 in 4.
Yeah, 24%. So now, basically 1 in 4 kids grow up without a parent.
And I'd be curious what percent, like, are divorced parents too.
So they're asking, what is the reason?
Well, the reason is I think that there's a lot of different norms that are trying to be pushed, right?
I agree.
And I think that's the reason. One of the norms is that women can sleep with whoever they want and how many men that they want. That's one of the reasons. You know what I'm saying? And I think that is detrimental because at the end of the day, no man wants to take care of a woman that has a lot of bodies. I don't care what anybody says. But
I mean, I just think it's like women batting out of their league a lot and they just get pregnant by the guy that they can't lock down. That's what I think. I think it's like the 4s, 5s, 6s trying to lock down the 8s, 9s, and 10s, and they get pregnant by them because half of the time, like, they weren't even in a relationship.
Yeah.
That I see anyway.
And that's another thing. So I was gonna go and like to piggyback off of that. We're talking about what are women desiring. The women are desiring the man with the money, right? There's on the Shade Room. I forgot her name. She posted, "Don't marry for love, marry for money." Well, guess what? There's only 15% that make over 6 figures, and only like 7% that make over. What's it called? 250,000. So now, what do you marry? There's not a lot of options. So you're sharing men, right? But then again, on the same token, men can't have more than one woman. But there's only about 28% of men in America make up 100% of the kids in America.
So really? I didn't know that stat.
So now you got about 30%. You got about 30% of women, right? I mean,
28.
30% rounding up, right? 30% of the men make up 100% of the kids. That means women don't want 70% of the men. So now, but then again, they don't want to share a man.
But aren't women more career driven now and independent? And now it's the opposite, where men cannot, or men feel insecure that they're not able to keep up with a woman that is making a certain amount of money.
No, men don't.
So they decide that they do not want to get married.
Men don't care if you're independent.
Oh, they do.
No, they don't. I'm telling you.
They do.
Okay,
Personal experience.
Okay, well, I'll tell you. I do pretty well with my channel. I employ like 10 people. And I'm telling you, men don't give a shit. Like, they don't care at all. They only what?
You say you polled 10 people?
I employ 10 people.
Oh, you employ,
I employ
okay.
10 people with my channel, roughly. I have to count all the contract. I don't know. But roughly.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, like men don't care. They just care when you throw it in your face. So when you say things, I don't think you understand, like, how men hear. When you're saying, I'm strong, I'm independent, like, men want to be needed. When you say, I don't need you, like, that's a red flag to a guy. So when you come at a guy and you say, like, I'm strong, I'm independent, like, the way they see that is, I don't need you. Why would I want to be with a woman that, like, doesn't need me? And so
you think that women are just telling men, I'm strong, I'm independent?
Yeah. I think it's the attitude that comes with it. Because I talk to people 4 times a week. So, like, this is just what the men tell me is they say, like, because, like, that's something I got when I was younger. Like, my mom would say, like, oh, you're so good at things, and, like, boys are intimidated by you. When I was, like, a teenager in high school, you know? And she's like, you're tall. And but anyways, I hear this narrative, but the older I get, I'm like, that's not true. Like, he even said he likes a girl that, like, is...
Yeah, but you guys are 29 and 25.
Yeah.
So, realistically, I don't even think that you'll want to get married at 25 years old.
Oh, I would.
know,
I absolutely
would?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I would like to
okay.
be married. Like I think I would prefer to be married like sooner rather than later.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, my
so
25-year-old was
till I
different.
do it. Like, I can want to be a millionaire. It doesn't mean I am. Like,
yeah. I mean, yeah. Listen, everybody wants to be married. It's not everybody, but most people want to be married if they find the right person. But what that right person is, nobody knows because people change their mind based on what the societal demands are.
Men are very insecure. Men are very insecure and they're very selfish. They don't want to share you. They don't want to, know that you slept with someone else and the possibility that that person could have been better than he is. You know what I'm saying? So I think that for me,
I think they just don't want another dude nailing their chick. Like,
I just, my thing is, this is the thing.
I'm with that.
My issue is the shame around it. That's the problem with me. Whether you are a person who's like, I don't want someone that's slept around a lot, whatever the case may be. Is the shame that we're attaching to
frontal
women.
lobe, it does not matter. You make conscious poor decisions. And I'm not saying that everybody's journey is the same. I'm not adding variables. I'm adding tendencies and I'm adding your resorts. So what do you resort to when push comes to shove? And at the end of the day, that is who your character is.
but why does
that?
But you can't sit here and make an excuse for a person trying to do wrong.
do not point at me. Do not point.
No. I was just like,
I
I wasn't.
I believe
nowhere
in
near you,
accountability,
Lanie.
but
It
I
was to
also
the plant before anything.
understand. I believe in accountability, but I also
To what point?
Hold
Marie?
on. I believe in accountability. However, I understand the process of development and I understand the process of really comprehension. We're not going to say a 14-year-old's decision-making skill is the same as a 25-year-old's decision-making skill.
No.
We're not going to say, because I don't give an excuse for a 25-year-old, I'm not giving an excuse to a 14-year-old. I'm not giving an excuse to a 10-year-old. Do you see what I'm saying? When we look at brain in terms of brain development, we can't in 2022 say because you're 14, you have a clear understanding of logic and consequence as an adult.
This is the choice you make. So if you're 14, 15, 16, you make a choice. That's the consequence. And like, we're so used to being bailed out of every bad decision and we're so used to not having consequences that we want to tell the men, well, you should understand us. This is our journey. Da 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 da. No offense. Da 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 da. Yeah. And it's like it's just like another way to say bullshit. If that was your decision, own it.
Yeah.
Like there are men that I've talked to. They sold like drugs or like they've had a criminal past and they don't say this was my journey or whatever. They said I was young, I was dumb, I did that.
And we
but
own it.
Yeah,
That's
and it's
it.
like and they know the consequence that comes with it. They don't say, well, everyone around me shouldn't judge and like
And I shouldn't go to jail. I should never go to jail for committing a crime. But you know what? I had no food for 7 days, Your Honor. I didn't know what it's like to eat, so I went and I sold some drugs to get some money. But you know what? I was 21 and my frontal lobe wasn't really working. And you know what else? Life threw me curveballs and I tried to make lemons and I made orange juice. But don't tell me that I'm wrong.
I just want to say, because it's real funny right now, because I hear you laughing a lot, okay? Yeah. Have you ever been homeless?
Have I ever been homeless?
Yes. Have you ever been without food for 7 days?
Without food for 7 days?
Yeah.
I have been homeless for a little bit. I was living in a car. But it was by choice.
It was by choice. Look.
I wanted to experience it. I was like, I'm gonna van life.
But this is what I'm saying.
And then I've never gone without food for 7 days. But to be fair, neither have most women in America because half of women are overweight.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Anyways, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Because that's not even funny. It's not funny because I've been homeless, okay, with 2 kids, okay?
I was a kid.
I've been married and I've been in an abusive relationship, okay? None of that is funny. It's not funny at all. And if there's women out there that need to find food because they haven't eaten in 7 days and they need to do whatever they need to do, they got to do what they got to do. That wasn't my personal experience, but it's like, this is the problem. When you have conversations with people and everyone is like, oh, this happened to you? That's crazy. Your consequences, this and that. It's like, you've never been in a position.
But I have. Wait, hold on. But I have. I was homeless, not for 7 days, longer.
Yeah.
You know what? I was the kid. I was your child with a young parent, with nobody to help. I made poor decisions. I suffered from them. I don't blame my mom. I don't blame my grandmother and my family. I don't blame the younger version of me. I don't try to look for an excuse. At the end of the day, I did wrong. Okay? And that's what people need to understand. Fuck.
So you were homeless because of your actions?
No. Fuck your trauma. If you do wrong, you take what comes with it and you take it on the chin and you wear it with a smile. You can have a good reason. I'm not going to call it an excuse. You can have a good reason, but you need to understand that it's still wrong. And then you also have to understand that the world outside will always deem it as wrong, even though you deem it as a necessity. And that's the point. That's the line you have to draw. If you got to do what you got to do to survive, I'm not knocking it. But you got to understand what comes with it. See, I have a mother, shout out to Miss Batista, who didn't sell her body for money. She acquired 3 degrees. She acquired so many degrees that she technically could have a PhD, okay? And she did that while we were living in a car. So when I see women that decide to out into selling their bodies, it's like that's not an excuse for me. Now, I'm not saying I'm not saying that you don't gotta do what you gotta do, and I'm not knocking what you gotta do. All we're saying is you still gotta take what comes with it, regardless of how you feel about it. That's all it is.
And all I'm saying, and you may not share that, and that's okay. What I'm saying is I look at it from a different perspective. I don't look at it from that ice cold perspective. Mm-hmm. I view things with a different lens. I view it with compassion. And I understand that you may be like, pull yourself up by your bootstrap, or I've never experienced it and I'll view it from an abstract perspective and just get over it, which often people do when they don't live through it. I just don't view it that way. So what I'm saying is I just don't view it in that harsh way. So if a woman, I don't have to personally agree with a woman having sex with a lot of women. I don't. I actually sex with a lot of men, sorry.
Or it's be both.
Or whatever. These days, you never know. Both. You know, on a personal note, I don't. However, I don't also view it from a judgmental perspective.
But the world is judgmental, Marie.
I understand that, right? But we are the reasons why the world is so judgmental.
Like, if a man's homeless, he just has to get a job. Like, there's nothing stopping her from.
But if a woman is homeless, she just has to get a job. It's the same thing.
True. That's true. But so if she chooses to do OnlyFans or do sex work, she made a choice when she could have done the same thing the men do. We said we're equal, right?
Men have OnlyFans,
but not. You know it's not at the same rate. You know.
She wants to do.
You know what my thing is?
There's nothing. This is okay, but here's the thing. I don't care what people do. I genuinely don't care. If someone,
this is what I'm
someone else, but listen. Let me finish. I don't care what people do. So if you want to go do OnlyFans, like that's fine. But my issue is when women shame men when they complain about the consequence, because men say I don't want to hoe, and they say, well, you should be understanding, and the men say, you know what? I actually have this standard. I don't want that. That's a slut. Sorry, I'm not dating slut. Then we shame them. But that's my issue.
I agree. Let's not shame people. That's what I'm trying to say.
No.
No.
Actually, sorry. Let me correct.
Hold on, ma'am, if I may.
Correct.
So let's not shame people.
Now bring back shaming.
Not bring back shaming.
No, we have to.
And that's what I'm trying to say.
But then you're trying to work into a world of non categories.
It's not about non.
It is, because at the end of the day, how do I decipher? Tell me, if you're telling me not to shame, which I'm not shaming, I'm categorizing.
Then we just don't suit. So if you, Rico, say, hey, I'm not okay with a woman that's been with 10, 20 women. Okay, great. And I'm like, hey, I've been with multiple people and this is who I am, right? And I want X, Y, and Z. I don't have to shame you for wanting what you want, and you don't have to shame me.
My thing is, okay, it's like why do you have, because the actual question, what we're disagreeing about is, why do women have to lie?
Yeah.
Okay? And my thing is, if we keep telling women that having a 20 body count or 30 or 40, it's like, oh my God, you're a whore. They're never going to tell you the truth. It's like, why would they tell you the truth when every time you're calling them a hoe, you're calling them a whore, telling them they're never going to get married, they're never going to do this, they're never going to do that. Like, why? What is the point of that? I could know a hoe and be like, congratulations. You know, I hope it works out for you.
You know what the
that is your choice. That is what she wants to do. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my God, you're never going to get married because you slept with 20 people. Oh my God, this is going to happen to you. Oh my God, this is going to happen to you. Because to be honest with you, like Aaron says, what you eat don't make me shit. It's not my business.
Let me tell you.
Who said they wouldn't get married?
I don't know who said they want to get married, but someone did mention that men prefer a woman that whatever.
But not everyone qualifies. Not every guy qualifies for that.
Not every woman qualifies either. And some women don't. Most people.
That's true.
Nowadays, a lot of people do not want to get married.
And I think you're right. Actually, like that's why women lie. But I think on some level, like we know as women it matters because like what's the first thing a girl calls another girl? When she's mad, you're a hoe, you're a slut, you're a whore. Like I think women slut shame other women more than men do, in my opinion. Men, what I hear is like,
I still pay.
This is what I think with men. Like, because I've asked this question so many times. I say, would you rather have a girl that has, she has 4 bodies, but you know 3 of them, or she has 20 bodies, you don't know any? Most guys say the second. Yeah.
No.
So that to me says it's not necessarily about the number, but it's like the social status, like more. I mean, it's both. But like that's the thing though. Like what else would you call a girl? Like you have to describe words somehow. So what else do you just call a girl that sleeps around? Like if he's a drug addict, we call him a drug addict.
Why does she sleep around?
I don't care. Why does he do drugs? He's still a drug addict.
My thing is,
no, it does not matter. Stop, Marie, because you be trying to give this out to people for making poor decisions.
No, I'm not. Dude,
it's not a lot of outs. My thing
is who I am.
I get it, but
okay, I don't view the world like you.
Just compassion with me and Alan and your family. We don't compassion for poor judgment. You know what my thing is? I highly doubt, and I want somebody from 1950s to come out here and correct me. I highly doubt that every man from 1950s had sex with more than 50 women and all these women knew about it, right? But let's go ahead and say the reason is women lie about their body count because they all are ashamed. And if they weren't ashamed, they control the power. Let me give you an example. Men at some point had to become a certain norm that, oh, he probably has about 30 bodies, right? He probably has about 40 bodies. Men now have about 50 bodies. Men now have about 60 bodies. You know what that sounds like? A bunch of men being honest about approximate numbers, okay? Women are putting themselves in a box. If every woman out here told me that they had 20 bodies wouldn't be a lot to me. Okay, but when you all are not in a cohesive team, and some of you are telling me 3, and some of you are telling me 25, who you think I'm rocking with? The 3. So now what I'm trying to say is, women need to go ahead and tell, all you women out there need to go ahead and get in your little collective circles and be like, yo, we're going to be honest. How many you got? How many you got? You got 15? I got 19. You got 22? All right, we're going to stick with 20. This is the new number. You got to understand what the norms are. And the norm is if every single woman in America told every man they had 20 bodies, I guarantee you 20 wouldn't be a lot.
I agree with you. We had this conversation earlier, and the conversation was based around, and Alan and I were discussing, I said, the reality is for me, like if a woman says, I've slept with X amount of people, and it's something that I enjoyed, I did it, whatever. Mm-hmm. But whenever somebody tries to hide something, tries to like not show it, that it almost brings an energy with it. So yeah, you see her and she has that energy. I don't know if it's shame or guilt or whatever it is. So if women took ownership, and I agree with you, Rico, rather than thinking that, hey, we're worried about what men are going to say, own what you did.
But that's what I'm trying. I didn't get to finish, right?
Sorry.
I didn't get to finish because I was long-winded. But I was saying all that to tie into my good friend Pearl's point, okay? Women judge women more than men judge women.
I don't.
So I'm not saying you specifically. I'm just saying in totality, in general, women destroy women more than men destroy women, and women judge women more than men judge women, right? So and women give other women less shake than men, right? Women also listen to women more than they listen to men. This is women have a whole community that they go like this, and it doesn't matter. They stick with each other through thick and thin, and I think it's a beautiful thing. But now the problem that happens is women can't be real with their friends. I know girls who has smashed me and lied to her friends, and then their friends try to tell me I was lying that I smashed. And it's like, well, guess what? I'm not going to show you the proof, but I got it. You know what I'm saying? So now what it comes down to is not a woman being honest with men thing. It's a woman being honest with, I'm not even going to say their friends and their other women, being honest with themselves. Most women are not happy having sex with a lot of men. So when they're having sex with a lot of men, what are they going to do? Lie about it because they're ashamed that they're even doing it. If you wasn't ashamed of doing it, you would be over here clapping and embracing your actions. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I go ahead and I win an Oscar award, I'm going to be proud of it. I'm going to chant my Oscar.
And it wouldn't matter if anyone said to him, like, oh, you're an Oscar whore.
You're an Oscar whore.
Like, he wouldn't care because he's proud of it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Even when I say, hey, look, I got a lot of bodies. Girl, you think girls don't DM me and comment and say you're a hoe? You think that never happened to me? That's been happening to me since I was in high school. You know what I said? All right, so what's next? What I do, I'm comfortable doing it.
Of course
because
you are.
this is who I am.
But it's a patriarchal society.
No,
it's going to be more comfortable.
No, it's not more comfortable. It's that
patriarchy.
People do things that they think. People say, for example.
You're not shamed, Rico. Like, the thing is, Richard was having an interesting conversation about it. Like, if you come out and you say, hey, I have slept with 1,000 women, right? Maybe some people. Who? Yeah, like
that's a lot of women.
Like, I'd be like, ugh. You know, like for me, I'd be like, yo, that's crazy, right? But like most people or most men aren't going to be like, oh my God, that's so disgusting. You. However,
what do you mean, Marie? That's false. That's false. One of my bosses.
You said you slept with 1,000 women, opposed to a woman saying she slept with 1,000 men, and we reviewed the comment section, like. They would come for her.
Men don't,
because in terms of expectations, like
you think women don't come for me? If I say one thing remotely close to the guy's edge, I'm a narcissist and a misogynist. So I don't want to hear that comment section nonsense. Women come for
giving a small percentage.
Yeah, but by and large, men are.
We could go on Table Instagram and pull this up.
By and large, men are shamed more than women are for everything. Men are trash. Like we have little things like men are idiots. Men are dumb. Oh,
men aren't as smart.
It's even though.
I think that you guys are like you're generalizing something that doesn't. I've never called somebody a hoe, a bitch, or whatever. When I see my daughter's timeline and somebody say, "Hey, bitch," I said, "You better take that shit down." Yeah, because we don't do that, and it's like you're shaming. Like, if my friend told me, oh, my God, I had sex with this guy and this, I'm not going to be like, oh, my God, you're a whore. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Because I think it's a difference. It's like, I would be like, why would you do that? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like a whore.
Yeah, I didn't call you a B word. I just said you're acting like one. You know how many women went on vacations and didn't come back friends?
No, they test the sorority houses. How much drama is in sorority houses? Come on. They do fraternity houses and sorority houses. Fraternity brothers, they're brothers for life. Sorority sisters, they talk shit about each other for life.
What is the age group of the audience?
No, but what I'm saying is
because I think it's like,
wait, is this an attack on women?
I just
see, stop doing that. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that, guys.
Don't point the camera on me, Alan. Like,
yeah, when you gonna say this?
No, I don't. Listen, is this an attack on women? Like, what is the goal? I just want to know, like, if we're really trying to help society and we're really trying, if you are trying to help society and you're trying to help society, I don't know, but what's the solution? How do, like, I don't get it.
I actually, okay.
I don't.
I'll tell you.
I don't like this combative attack on women.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and.
You asked me a question.
I do. I want to
answer. I don't think it's an attack on women to speak general truths, and it's interesting because in this conversation, whenever we say like a general truth, like it seems like you guys fight it, and I feel like you guys know what we're talking about on an innate level, but like you pretend you don't. So I think you know that women are cattier than men. You just like are pretending it's an attack. Just my perception. I don't know you personally. No offense. And so second, solutions. All right. First of all, if it was Pearl's world today, I would get rid of child support. I would get rid of alimony. I think that's stupid. I would also get rid of a lot of the government benefits. Like, I'm sorry, if you leave and you're a single mother, like I don't think the government should pay you to be a single mother. But on a personal level, I can't do shit about the laws. So what I would do, what I'm going to do actually, and this is a new channel we're starting, wife school. So are you at 304? Are you a modern woman who wants to be a wife? I can't teach you. I'm not a wife, but I'm bringing in the best wives from all over the country. The one that who marries the high value men. Who are the women behind the scenes that you don't know about? We're gonna bring them in and we'll teach you how to be a wife. So yeah, we are solution oriented here at Just Pearly Things.
I'm so jealous because
wife school.
Yo, you know I had that whole idea. Whatever, I'll support you. I'll support you. The solution is this.
Not solution.
Oh, sorry, you're right. Step 3, matchmaking.
That's also not solution.
How is it not a solution? You said, what's a solution for the 304s?
I can appreciate.
The 304s.
Yeah. What are they supposed to do?
And the 303.
Wife school.
Like, look, this is all good.
Wife school.
Like, this is all good. Like, I get it. Like, but
what's your solution?
Honestly, I don't have a problem with you. You see, I'm not that person. I'm not being combative and saying you're a whore. You're never gonna get married. So
I never said you're never gonna get married.
Understand the attack. So if we're attacking women, right, by saying that you're sleeping around a lot, what's the solution? I don't.
So can I tell you, Marie? I'll be honest with you. The solution.
This seems very simple.
And you know what? One thing I realize about life, right? Life is simple, right? There's a great coach in NFL that said, they asked him, how did you manage to have 16 winning seasons? And he responded, I don't overcomplicate simple solutions. Okay? And I think that's what's happening in this world today. Women want to have an out, and it's just a simple fact that there is no out. The out is conduct yourself, choose your partners wisely, and choose your partners limitedly, so that in that way, the guy that you truly want will actually find you desirable.
How?
What do you mean how?
No, how do women develop these values?
By keeping your value. When a woman is born...
How do they develop the values?
A woman doesn't have to... See, this is the thing.
No, who teaches them these values?
No. This is the thing. Women are born with value. Men are not. See, as a man grows up in life...
You don't understand what I'm saying. I'm not talking about...
You mean...
I'm talking about intrinsic values.
Okay, I got you. Okay, I get you now. How they develop these values is by stop buying into the hype. Stop buying into the hype and the notion that it's okay for you to sleep with whoever you want because you can't. It's okay to have as many partners as you want because you can't.
Who taught them? Who teaches them this?
Who's teaching them music and social media and all of this other different things are teaching women that they can do what they want to do in the Western civilization, by the way. This problem doesn't exist in the other side of the world.
What side?
Well, there's only two sides. There's the eastern side and the western side.
I want to focus.
But where doesn't it exist?
It doesn't. This problem doesn't.
Okay, an example is South Korea.
India, India doesn't exist. South Korea doesn't exist. Lots of parts of Europe, it doesn't exist.
Can we focus on the U.S. real quick?
Well,
It's in Europe.
No, because I just want to focus on the U.S. I just want to know who's teaching these people. These
women are teaching women it's okay to be promiscuous and provocative.
No, I would say it's like the lack of fathers in the home. I mean, there's a reason daddy issues exist. So, and like, why are there a lack of fathers in the home, promiscuous women?
So which came first?
That came from the government. But like,
I would, okay, actually, no, I have an answer. So it's the development of birth control. That's when things started to switch. If you look at the birth rate and the development of birth control, the graph, it's like very similar. It's like literally the rate of women on birth control and the rate of women divorcing their husbands is the same. And the reason being is like it gave women the option to sleep around. So before birth control, like this stuff didn't exist.
But if women are using birth control, then they wouldn't have children and they wouldn't be single parents.
No,
which means they wouldn't be taking as much as a risk.
50% of women are single and childless. So that hit 30. But the problem is like women, what happens is like modern women are side chicks. And the reason is because you ask 100% of women what they want. I mean, how do most relationships start nowadays? Situationships. And when you're a situationship, you're a side chick. And so like 100% of women, if you ask them what they want in a man, they list 20% of men.
No, I just want to circle back to birth control.
Yeah.
So you're saying birth control led to single parenthood, which led to no fathers being in the home.
Leads to free will. And free will gets abused.
So it leads to women being 100% in control of reproduction.
Okay,
Yes.
but if birth control was the issue, right? Birth control.
Partially, one of many.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's one variable. What's the other variable? Because that doesn't make sense. So what would be the other variable?
Well, and then on top of that, like you start to introduce no fault divorce, and then you give women incentives to leave. So if I think men and women are equally shitty. Okay, I think people are shitty. Men and women are equally shitty.
I think we can agree on that.
Yeah, no, but the difference is why I think women are worse nowadays is we're bailed out. We are paid to leave marriages and we're paid to be single mothers. If you pay someone to do something, they're going to do more of it.
They don't fear consequence.
Yeah, and so when women like men, and if men were paid to be single fathers, I'm sure there would be more.
What?
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to be a single dad?
Yeah.
Do you know how hard it is to?
Because they're not bailed out.
Men only win 16% or 13% of cases, right? Wait, oh, that's alimony.
Alimony cases.
It's probably even less for child support or child rights.
And so what happens is women, like, again, how do most relationships start? Situationships, and girls want to get the kid from the guy, and like they want to get there's whole Reddit threads of women trying to figure out how to get a guy's kid, and even this has been on national TV. This is how big this problem is, and it's because when women get on birth control, they say they're off of it, or they get in that situation because they want to get the top 20% of men.
But what's the data on that? So women are hitting 22, 23, and then we're like saying you're the worst, right? Excuse me. I'm just trying to get to the origin. So if we're talking about how do we solve this issue, right? And you were going a place talking about there aren't fathers in the home, and then you threw me off with the birth control piece, right? And it all depends on which demographic you're speaking about, right? Because if we're talking about the African American community, it's a completely different thing. It's not about birth control, right? That's not what it was about. It was about mass incarceration. I'll pull that data for you. Okay. So my thing is this, is like if we're talking about the problem, right? See, you make a point, Rico. You have a daughter, right? You make a point that you're going to raise her in a certain way. I was raised in a certain way, so there are values that I have. So I'm just wanting to it can't be a complete.
But this is what I'm trying to tell you, Marie, look at me.
I view it.
Marie, you know me, right?
Just let them give their solution. So
you know me.
I'm trying to go watch this show with my daughter.
Here's the thing.
Racing, single mother.
You know who I am. Matter of fact, a lot of people who watch It at the Table know who I am.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And my story is a 1%er story from the way I was raised. No shame to my mom. I'm talking about my environment.
Yeah.
And what I've done and how I got out of it, I don't know, right? Whatever. But what I always try to tell people, like, I had a good parent in my house. Although it was only one, I had a great parent in my house. However, my environment influenced me more than my parent. And that's the reality of life. People think that their parent influences them more than their environment, and that's not true. Your environment plays a bigger role and effect on you than your home does.
I think you're an outlier.
No, I think I'm an outlier to understand not to drink the Kool-Aid.
Yes, but you're still an outlier.
But this is what I'm trying to say. Women need to stop drinking the Kool-Aid. That's the only solution. The Kool-Aid is telling you it's okay to have multiple partners and create all these soul ties and then be broken and then get a therapist and find a way to heal. That's everybody's next 10-year journey. If you're 22, that's your next 10-year journey. You're going to go ahead and have sex with all these dudes in the Western civilization, by the way, and then be broken and self-resent and have a lack of self-identity, then seek a therapist. After you seek a therapist, then you got to read some self-help books from Barnes & Nobles. Shout out to Joshie, the expert. And then from there, you got to find yourself and then hope that you're young enough and valuable enough for a man to want to do everything that you're asking for. We have unrealistic desires and demands on men without the proper credibility. Okay? Mm-hmm. These women want to do whatever that they want to do, and then they're going to try to tell a man that they need to do whatever that they're asking for. And it's like, well, you don't qualify for that. Just like some men don't qualify for top-notch women, so a lot of women don't qualify for top-notch men.
See, why did you have to do the a lot?
Because a lot of women are marrying for money. Men don't marry women for money.
Some of them do.
And men most.
Some do.
Historically though, most men didn't reproduce. So historically, the majority of men didn't reproduce anyway. So that's like a given. Like men did,
and I'm fertile.
I'm saying you said why you said why did he have to say most women? And I said it's a given with men. And even for women, like I don't say that hoes can't get married and like no one will.
About reproduction, we were talking about reproduction. It's just like, okay, I agree with you that when you say that, I agree with you. There are people that don't qualify for each other. That's okay. That's fine. But why did you have to go to make the point? Right? You said there are men that don't qualify for certain women. Then you had to say there are a lot of women.
Because most women have I'm about to say, most women have the same desires. You want a man that has money. You want a man that can protect. You want a man that can provide. Guess what? Most men can't protect you.
Hold on a second, Rico.
Okay? Most men can't provide for you. They don't have that ability. Most men are cowards. Most men are liars. Most men are poor. So now when it's like you want a man who wants to protect you want a man who can protect and provide for you. Most men can't do both. We want a woman that can just chill with us and comfort us and be our companion. That is an intangible that everybody qualifies for.
But why are we generalizing? Like,
I'm not generalizing, Maria. Maria, I love you so much. I'm not generalizing. I swear. Maybe I'm biased because I'm a guy. I'll take that.
I agree with Marie. You give the person the choice, and if that's not your person, you move on. And my thing is, like, how do you change this? Stop making it a thing that if you slept with a certain number of people, 10 people, or whatever the number is, you're a hoe. It's just you're just you. Okay? And unfortunately for me, I don't want a woman that has slept with 20 men. So now we both get to move on our separate ways, and I will find my person eventually. So it's not like, it doesn't matter. I don't care how many people you slept with. You slept with 1, you slept with 25, whatever. That is your business. I have a choice, okay, to say I want to be with you or I don't, and that's it. But you want people, the whole question here was, why do women lie? They lie because there's a stigma on how many people you slept with. That's why they lie, because whatever the reason you may think it is, whatever it is. But to me, that's the reason why I feel that a lot of women lie. No, society has told us that men do not want, because there's plenty of men, there's men that want women with no kids.
Society told you if a man can't protect you, he's not a man either. And y'all believe that, right? So what are we talking about?
It's women don't like what they qualify for.
Alan, my thing is, I agree with you. A lot of women do not qualify for the men that they want. Okay? A lot of women they don't qualify because I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want a man that loves me, I want him to have money, I want him to be 7 feet tall, I want him to be all these things. And I agree, a lot of women do not qualify. Okay, but I'm not going to call you a name and call you a whore and call you this and that because you slept with a certain number of people, because you're not going to come and tell me the truth. Just like a man, they be lying left and right about anything because sometimes they just want to be liars. They just want to lie for no reason, okay? And that's fine. But it's my choice. Do I want someone that lies to me? No, I don't want someone that lies because then that means that I can't trust you. And to me, trust is important. But if you lie to me and I find out you lied 1 or 2 times, I'm not going to ask you, are you a liar? Because I already know you a liar. And you know what? It's my choice to not be with you anymore. And that's it. Everyone has a choice. If I tell you I slept with however many people, it is your choice to not want to be with me. If I have friends that have slept with so many people, it is my choice to not want to be their friend. But I'm not going to go and tell them, oh, you're this and that, so in the future you won't be truthful towards me. Like, what's the point?
Do you think entertainment does skew your... Like, I don't think the women in general in society are as bad as, like, fashion. Like, I know in entertainment, like, I'm always trying to get the most controversial guests. Like, I agree with you. The reason we go to the extreme is to prove a point. So it's to say, like, maybe she didn't have OnlyFans, but she slept with 20 dudes or 10 dudes. But, like, I interview guys this. I ask the question, how many bodies is too many bodies? It seems to be right around 10. But if I push it and I say, okay, 11, 12, they're usually, it seems like the real number is 15 for men.
More
maybe
like
say
20. Like, but I'm different because, I got to be realistic.
But guys, okay, this is the thing.
I'm more of a fair guy, and I know my body count. Well, I don't know it, but...
This is the thing. The guys have a tell, too. Like, women have a tell if they have a lot of bodies because they'll argue for body count. No offense. But, like, men have a tell, too. If they say, like, too low, I'm like, you don't get pussy.
I love this fact! She's not wrong, though. But
they're like 3 is too many. I'm like, all right.
Because you don't get boxed. Like, that's a fact. Like, I told her just now, like, I know my body count. I got to give you at least 20. Like, but, like, all right.
But the thing is, like, also men kind of cap on camera, too, is the other thing. Like, they'll say 10, but if I push it, and because I always push it, because everyone lies. Like, they'll, like, in the camera, right? So I'll be like 10, then I say 15. And I'm like, all right, what about 17? Would you? If she has everything, and they're like, well.
I'll be honest with you, right, Pearl? Since you called out guys on cap, and I'll be 100% honest with you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm always honest. How I got the name Hundo. But, like, so there was a girl who we had a one-night stand sexual fling, right? I really wasn't a one-night stand because I was supposed to hit it, but then I didn't hit it, and then she left on vacation. When she came back, the day she came back, I hit it. So whatever. Now
2-night stand.
2-night stand, right? So now in the second night, right, when I'm hitting it, literally she starts like crying, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is not what I wanted. And I'm like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, like, because, I'm all big on consent. And then she's like, yeah, but, like, I'm just upset. Mind you, I was 20 years old. She was 19.
Okay.
She's like, you're my 10th guy. And that was, like, a big number to me. And I already made mistakes in my past. And I'm actually upset that I'm making the same one. Right? So I was like, damn, 10? You probably just started clapping like 3 years ago. You're bugging, right? But
you said that?
No. I'm saying in my head.
Oh.
So now what ended up happening was I was in a 2-year relationship with her, right? 1.5 years, whatever. So the thing was the fact that she was so honest with me. I was like, all right, you know what? It was also a digestible number, right? I'm not gonna lie, because if she did say 25 at 19, I'm 20, it'd be an automatic dub. But I knew that, with my body count, I was over 10. So I'm like, you know what? It's not that bad. 10 is not that bad. And I gave her a chance, and, we had a good relationship, whatever, and it ended. Now, I think that the thing is, a lot of women are ashamed of their body count because it's not a realistic number. See, me being a 10th guy and her having 9 previous, right now, I believe she's engaged, and she could be at 11, okay? Maybe 12. That's an acceptable number. You know what the average amount of men that women sleep with in America by the time they get married is 11? The number is 11. That's realistic, right? In America. So now, what happened? Go ahead, Pearl.
The problem is with those stats is that it's they include people from like the older generation.
All right. So there is a variable.
It's probably higher because the thing is like in any stat like
you have the median. They're taking the median.
You want to do I think it's like the mean where it's the most common number and I don't know what that is but.
So, which is true, but let's just rock with what we got for now, right?
Sorry. Like, I'm too.
No. We can go on variables on these stats, right? But the average they say is 11 men by the time they get married, making I would assume the man that they married to 12 men, even though I don't really rock with 12, right? But women know when it's too much, okay? Women know when they've had too many partners, and they automatically grow ashamed to it. And if there are this amount of abundance of women that have that number that is bigger than 12, okay? If 12 is the realistic number that most women, in the median standpoint, are getting married, a body count that they're getting married, then it is what it is. But if you tell me 25, which is double, and you're 25.
But is that based on just your experience of that one situation?
No, my thing is that we got to understand I know men more than women know men. I don't care what a woman says, right? I know the man that you're dealing with. I know the man, because I can tell what type of man he is. Only a man can tell what type of man he is, just like only a woman can tell what type of woman she is. You just get fooled. You're gullible. Or you're easily bought. It's one of the two. There's only one reason why you're having sex. There's only a few reasons why you're having sex with multiple men. You're not having sex with multiple men because you truly want to. And any woman that does is truly broken. There's no way a woman is going to have sex with 50 men and say that that's what they want to do. And I would say that there's an anomaly. I'm not talking about the exceptional purpose. I'm talking about the majority of women do not want to have sex with multiple men. Majority of women do not want to have an old man, a young man, 100 old men or young men on top of them breathing heavy. No woman wants that. Do you want that, Marie?
Boy.
All right then. Do you want that, Lanie? No, and women don't want. Women do not want. Listen, on my part, I'm getting passionate. Women do not want. No, women do not want hundreds of men, tens of men breathing on top of them, heavily penetrating them.
I don't presume to know what other women want.
Marie just copping out because Marie is an equalist.
I don't presume to know what other women want.
I don't want 1,000 women saying that they rode me either. I got more respect for myself now. I don't want 1,000 women riding me either. Cause at the same time, it's I value myself so much that I don't like, and this is why I had to slow down my own self, cause I don't like when women can be like, yo, that's group chat Rico, we all got him. And I'm like, all right, well, it was cool for me and it was cool for y'all, but y'all all hoes. Guess what? The chances of me getting the relationship I want, not married, not just a marriage, the chances of me getting the marriage that I want and desire is higher than theirs.
Things matter for a reason. There's a reason things matter in society. We didn't evolve to this point to go against what's natural. There's a reason that things matter biologically. Yeah.
Look at the raise of STDs right now. What do you think, this is all men? Men can't do it by themselves.
It's 80% of women are sexually active. We're only or 66 or 2 out of 3 men are roughly.
Yeah, because at the same time, what the stat is about 30% of men are actually desirable.
Yeah.
So if you have 30% of men that are actually desirable, that means women have to be realistic and be you're sharing the same man.
I don't want to say every girl, but nowadays situationships are first, and so that's you're starting as a side chick. And then you get to see if you make it to the final round.
And whoever, look, bro, that's how I got my daughter. It was a long story, but I'm not going to get into that. But at the same time, that is true. at the end of the day, what we got to do is we got to make conscious decisions. And I think that people need to understand that no matter, I don't care how you feel, okay? Consequences are inevitable, and so is categorizing, all right? If you do things that pertain to certain categories, you need to take what comes with it. If you don't want to wear that shoe, don't walk that path. Pearl, you've been great.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Yo, Pearl, if I could, like, if you were in the States, I'd probably try to get you here every Thursday. Lanie.
I just want to say, since this is a no judgment zone, I think that how we stop people from lying about their body count is having honest conversations, right? And when we're in a relationship, we should communicate and actually have these conversations. Is this something that you're okay with? Is this something that you're not okay with? Unfortunately, that's not what I want. And so, if you have conversations, not like this one-sided, it should be a conversation between two people where you have, you talk about what you want, what you don't want, and what works in your relationship. Because if you have those conversations, there should be no issues. And I would have no problem telling someone what my body count is if they came to me and said, listen, to me, this is an issue. I would like to know what your body count is because if it was over a certain amount, I wouldn't be comfortable dating you. And I would say, well, my body count is what? And if you feel comfortable with that, we could continue. And if not, we could just go our separate ways. So conversations is the way to go. And that's all you have to do. And women, you don't have to lie. Just tell them. And if they don't want to be with you, you can move on and find someone better. That's it.
All right, I agree with Lanie for once today. I think that was great. Everybody that has been liking and subscribing, keep on keeping on. Hey, we got the date box. The date box is lit and official. Different things every month. Subscribe now. We'll see you next time at 8 at the Table.